Alright, we're here. Hello, Wolfpack. I don't know if this is working. I really have no idea what's going on in general, to be honest, but let me know if you can hear me, I guess. I think I've got my actual volume playing over the top. Hold on 1 second. Alright, here we go. Alright, let me know if you can hear me, guys. Let me know in the comments if you can hear me. Just send, yeah, cool. Alright, sweet. Alright, well, hello, welcome to the first live stream. This is my first time doing anything like this, and I'm excited to get going. I thought the process we could do in this live stream is I can start off, or maybe we can start off with a few altcoin recommendations, right? Wait for some people to kind of filter in, and then we'll get into the general Bitcoin, and we'll go into Ethereum and the stock market and stuff like that. So just chuck in to chat if you want any altcoins analyzed. I'm willing to take a look at them. I don't know how long I'm going to be streaming today. It just depends how it goes. I know I was having some technical difficulties before, and so we'll just have to have a look at how it goes today because before my live stream is shutting off, and I tried it a few times. But all right, so let's see what's going on here in the market. I haven't actually looked at the market today. I was meant to do this live stream on the daily candle close. And we didn't get around to it because of the technical difficulties, but we just got Tristan right there. Tristan, I don't know how to pin your comment, mate, but wait, let's see what I can do here. Hold on. I think I can. All right, sweet. We're looking to HBAR right now. Tristan wants us to look into HBAR, so we're going to HBAR. Yeah, look, we had some problems with HBAR in the past. I did a video on HBAR about 2 months ago or 3 months ago. I'll bring up the chart and I'll show you where I did the video. We did it, I think, somewhere around here in this 40-cent region on HBAR. You can see my chart is not very well updated at all. I haven't looked at HBAR in a long time. But we looked at HBAR a while ago, and we got some death threats from the community there, which is not good to see when you're making a video about educational content. But look, we're looking at HBAR. HBAR's fundamentally, look, I'm not a fundamental analyst, but fundamentally I really do like HBAR. And I did extensively look into it at the very start of Wolves of Crypto. So this is back in mid-2021. I looked into it quite a bit. It was actually one of my favorite coins at the time. And I originally bought HBAR back here in January 2021. So we're looking at around 5 cents. And I sold HBAR actually. I can't remember exactly where it was, but I think it was somewhere in the 23 to 22 cent region. And that was only a couple months after. And a lot of people, I previously said that's one of the probably biggest mistakes I've made in crypto, selling HBAR that early. And I said that at the time. But then I saw that the tokenomics were taking a turn for the worst. HBAR tokenomics are not ideal. And if I could bring up the CoinMarketCap chart without leaking all my information right now, I probably would. But what we see on HBAR is the circulating supply increasing rapidly and the price getting dragged down because of that. And so even though the market cap is actually larger on HBAR here, right now, as it was over here, the price is the same or even less in some parts. So the fundamentals are great, right? The tokenomics work against it a lot. And if it wasn't for the tokenomics, I think the TA would look good. I remember talking about HBAR back here in July. For those of you who remember my original Telegram group, I don't know if many of you were in there, particularly in this live stream, but we had an original Telegram group and we put a buy signal on HBAR around July in this region here. And I'll just draw out this support box for HBAR because I think this support box is actually massively relevant. And I think you could probably draw it from around 18 cents or 19 cents down to the July bottom at around 13 to 14 cents. That is the major support zone for HBAR that we need to hold. And you can see this acted as support here and resistance in February, and acted as support throughout this entire May to July drop. And also we wicked down here a couple times in April. So that is the major support zone on HBAR that we need to hold. Do I think we'll hold it? Well, under my assumption that Bitcoin is going to be entering, it's already in actually, a bear market, and it's going to be going to the mid 25k region, we're looking at another, say, 40% drop in Bitcoin. To go down to the bottom of this support box on a HBAR would be a 36% drop. And so it's a little bit of a position in which I'm not 100% sure what HBAR is going to do here, because it is, you would expect altcoins to drop more than Bitcoin. But seeing as a 40% drop is needed on Bitcoin, or maybe another 30%, depending on, how long it takes, HBAR is looking at a 38% drop to the bottom of support. So there is a possibility here that HBAR can maintain the support. And if it does that, it's not going to be looking too bad, right? Because that would be one longer term W formation or some kind of structure like that, some kind of double bottom formation, which is very, very bullish, right, in the macro scale in HBAR. But it's one of those things that we're not really going to be able to tell what's going to happen. We're just going to have to wait and see. What we can do, and again, I haven't looked into these coins beforehand, so I'm just kind of, YOLOing this analysis. But what we can do is we can bring up some indicators to try and see the direction of HBAR. And what we can see straight off the bat, and this is the most critical indicator that I look at when I look into altcoins, right, and Bitcoin particularly, is the bull market support band, which consists of the 20-week SMA and the 21-week EMA. And that is this orange band I bring up here. And we can see on HBAR, we've actually come up and we've rejected for about a fortnight off of this bull market support band, and we've actually come down and rejected off it once again just 2 days ago. And so this would suggest to me that HBAR is not going to maintain this support level we've seen at 22 cents, and it actually might just fall straight into this green box within the next few days. So that's what I'd be looking at for HBAR at this point in time. We can bring up some other things here just to take a look. Volume, you might not be able to see it here, it's a little bit small, but volume is increasing in this downwards trend, which is a bad sign for HBAR. We have the Bollinger Bands showing that we're a little bit oversold. So yes, we might have a little bit of a bounce, especially heading into this support block starting at around 19 cents, but I would expect a drop into that green region. So look, on a longer term scale, I mean, we can look at the weekly chart quickly if we just want to go and have a look at this. And we can see that, HBAR has lost this potential macro double bottom on the weekly chart, which we could have formed here at around 25 cents on this weekly candle close. We've lost that, and so it's pretty clear that the structure at this point is pointing towards a retest of that support block. And as for what happens there, we'll have to see. It could be a potential trading signal, even if the market is going down. I might actually consider putting out a trading signal for HBAR in that kind of support region there, because usually even if you're going to drop below a major support block, you would typically see some sort of bounce before you drop, something like that. So we'll have to see what happens for HBAR. Let's look into another altcoin, and we'll actually just check how many people we've got in this stream right now, because I want to see when I can start doing this Bitcoin analysis. 17. I don't know how many people I'm going to get watching this, so that's the thing. So I'll do a couple more altcoins before we get into Bitcoin and Ethereum, which I'm sure a lot of people would be waiting for right now. So let's see what else someone is trying to look at here. So Harmony One, we'll look at Harmony One right here. And we're looking at Chainlink. I think it's one. One is, yeah, it is, okay. That's the weekly chart. Yeah, Harmony One, okay. Yeah, this is a coin I looked into a couple weeks ago in one of my videos, along with a lot of the coins that were doing very, very well in the Bitcoin correction. And yeah, look, I don't know about these kind of coins. I think that there has been a retrace, right, from 37 cents all the way down to 19 cents in like 5 or 6 days. And that's a hefty retrace, right? That is a retrace of around, let's see, 54%. And this is what I was warning you guys about when I made that video. I can't remember exactly what it's called, but I made it about 2 weeks ago. I made a video kind of warning you about the coins that were kind of in the sky. I looked at like Atom, Harmony One. I think I looked at Sand. I'm not really too sure. But yeah, we had this retrace as expected in that video. And coming onto this RSI straight off the bat, we can see that if we drop down even further on the kind of daily candle here, we could be seeing a bullish RSI divergence. We're primed for a MACD cross coming in shortly. We haven't actually retraced this low on the MACD in basically in the entire history of one, except for in December here, but that's expected as the price is higher. But just based off of straight TA and looking at where the major support is and major resistance is on Harmony One, well, obviously we've got this support block here from when we came down to the low here in December, and that's going to be at around 16 cents, somewhere in that region. We could also say there's another support block here just down on this liquidity wick down here at 13.5 cents. But there isn't really any major support until we come down, and this is kind of the case with most altcoins until we come down to the July to May lows, and that's going to be at around 6 cents to 3.9 cents. And I know that sounds extreme, and I'm not predicting we'll get there soon or whatever, but I'm just saying that is the major support block. And if we looked at the VBPR, the volume profile, we can get an idea of where that support is actually going to be coming from, and we can see that support, as I've just said, is mostly coming from and mostly built up around below where we are right now, the 18 cent region. So we were overextended massively on Harmony One. And that's why I made that video. Look at, the volume profile, the way I like to think of it is that, if there's bigger slopes on the volume profile, it means more buying and selling contention is happening in that region. If there's smaller slopes, like we saw above here at around 19 to 38 cents, it means that not much historical trading has been, in that region, and hence there's not much support built in that region at all. And so look, heading into this major support, we could be seeing a bounce on one. In fact, I'd probably predict a bounce just based off the base level TA. We've had a long wick to the downside at 16 cents, came all the way back up to 19, and we've had a green candle as well. I think the most logical move on Harmony 1, I mean, I'm assuming we've just lost the bull market support band as well. We've lost everything here, but the most logical move I would see happening just based off, my instinct on Harmony 1 here would be a swing back up to retest the bull market support band around 24 cents and then a retrace downwards to the yellow line at 16, and then we can decide what's going to be happening next on Harmony 1. Now, what we did see, and one of the reasons why I remember on Twitter a lot of people were very bullish about Harmony 1 is the fact that we had a it's debatable, okay? We'll say it's debatable. But we had an inverse head and shoulders pattern here on Harmony 1. I'll clean up this chart just so you guys can see that a little bit better. But the yellow line I just drawed there with the two shoulders and the head there, that is an inverse head and shoulders pattern. And a lot of people would have predicted, and I even pointed this out in my video a couple weeks ago, that we would just zoom straight up. And the target from that would be quite exponential if we're just taking a rough target. Let's just do it roughly. We're probably looking at something like that, and it would take us all the way up to 55 cents. Obviously, that wasn't going to happen. I mean, if Bitcoin is halving in valuation, you're not really going to see many altcoins pump up a 2x. It does happen. And particularly look at things like Chainlink. Chainlink has done pretty well in corrections. HBAR actually does pretty well in Bitcoin corrections as well, but it doesn't typically happen very often. And you have to remember that investing and trading is all about probability. And if you take into account that, it's unlikely, you probably shouldn't be going for it, right? Probability is everything in this market. It's not certain. We can't be certain things aren't going to happen, but we can be quite sure. And when Bitcoin's correcting 55%, you're not going to be looking for a 2x on many altcoins at all. Let's look into one more altcoin here, and then we can get into Bitcoin and Ethereum, and we can look into... So let's see here. So we can got Chainlink, Bitcoin Cash. Let's go Chainlink. Link is a coin that I've looked into extensively on my channel, and we've actually I haven't looked at this in a few days here. The last time I looked at Link, we were on this support line here, and this was in my YouTube videos. You would remember mid-December I posted a YouTube video on Link. I said as we came down to this long-term red uptrending level, I said, hey guys, Link looks pretty good here at around 17 cents. Link looks pretty good here. This is probably a good trading signal. You can go back and watch that video. I said this is probably pretty good trading signal, and we had a bit of a swoop up here to around 29, sorry. I can't remember exactly where I said we were going to go, but that makes perfect sense, right? 29 is in that major resistance block that's built up from August to November. And we rejected off of that regional link, and now we've actually come down and we've dropped below major support, and we've dropped below this critical uptrending red line. Now we do have a little bit more support, and if we just shift this box downwards, we can probably see there's another support block here, a massive one from around 13 cents to 7 cents. That is a massive support block, but that's where that buying and selling contention happened between around July 2020 and around January 2021. And so looking at Link now, even though we've dropped below this major uptrending line, and that is very bearish, and I don't think the structure will maintain, there is the potential, just like on HBAR, for us to form a macro double bottom formation and head back upwards. It really does depend on what happens with Bitcoin, what happens to the bull market. Again, considering that Bitcoin needs to drop, or probably will drop another 40 or 30%. We're looking at HBAR coming down and probably retesting the bottom of his support block here. So in terms of macro structure on Link, not HBAR, we're not looking too bad, right? Because even if we get that drop on Bitcoin down to the 200 week as expected, we're going to be swooping down to the lows here on the support block and probably maintaining that macro structure. And in terms of fundamentals as well, and again, I'm not a fundamental analyst, Link looks pretty good, and Link looks like it's got the longevity in there to kind of last a long time into the next bull market, which we're expecting to happen. Looking at traditionally, we're expecting 1 year of bear market, which will be this year, and then bull market to kind of happen, to really start kicking off in 2025. But from the end of this year, we'll be heading upwards slowly in a slow trajectory. So let's look into Bitcoin here. And after we look into Bitcoin, we may have the opportunity to kind of come back and check out a few more altcoins. So feel free to post any questions you have in the chat about Bitcoin in general and about my Bitcoin predictions here. And also a few more altcoin recommendations that you want me to look at, because obviously I might have time here today, depending on how the stream goes, to come back and look at some more altcoins here. Let me just grab some water real quick. And I'm kind of interested as well, guys. Don't mind me drinking water out of a beer cup there. But I'm kind of interested as well. I'm going to post a poll here in the chat. What your feeling is on Bitcoin right now. Bitcoin bearish or bullish? Because I like to get a kind of idea of how my audience is thinking. So I'll post a poll in there right now, and you guys can vote in that poll right there. There we go. I think that poll's in there now. Not 100% sure. There it is. It's just popped up. So let me know if you're bullish and bearish on Bitcoin. After I do this analysis, I'll look into some of the questions you guys have been posting in chat. I can see a few of you got some questions there. And this is kind of the Bitcoin outlook. Now, obviously, if you're watching this stream, I don't know how many new people are in here. I'm assuming most of you watched the channel before. You know my opinions on Bitcoin. And we can just go over it very, very quickly, what my opinions on Bitcoin are. We're not going to go over how I got to these opinions. It's been covered multiple times, but just at a base level, what I think is going to be happening on Bitcoin and what I've thought is going to be happening on Bitcoin since around 60k or around 58k or somewhere in that region. I mean, I was advocating for selling at 66 to 63, but then I kind of finalized my prediction in the high 50s. I said we're going to be coming down to the 200-week SMA, which is this green line here. Depending on where we get there or when we get there, that's going to be a kind of give us an idea of where the price is going to be. We're not going to be 100% sure where the price is going to be because obviously this is a dynamic support. It's moving upwards right now. So if we get there in 6 months, it could be 25k. We get there in a month, it could be 20k. We don't really know. All we do know, or all I do know, my personal prediction is we're probably going to get to the 200-week SMA on Bitcoin. That's my prediction. And Megawell, I've seen Megawell jump in the chat here. Just briefly before, we kind of share some of the same ideas about Bitcoin, particularly about where we're going to be bottoming out. We've had some disagreements in the past about when we'll be bottoming out, but ultimately I respect his views and I can completely understand where he's coming from. I think previously Megawell said July, I've said November. I've recently come back and kind of retracted my claim for November semi because we've had that stock market crash and that has accelerated this a lot unexpectedly. And so I think for us to take 10 months to get to the 200 week might be a bit of an overkill. I think we could get there sooner. I'm not 100% sure about the time frame, but I'm pretty confident about us getting there in general. Now, looking at Bitcoin, we can see that we have dropped out of the descending wedge formation. All we need to do on Bitcoin right now is take a kind of measured move from the first test of the top of the wedge to the first test of the bottom of the wedge and apply it to the breakout point. And straight away we can see that Bitcoin at the breakout point is targeting the support block at 29k or 27k, to 30k. That is the major support block on Bitcoin that we've held throughout January, all the way through to May, all the way through to July, right? That is major support there on Bitcoin. We've held for 2 periods of consolidation, and we are targeting that from that wedge breakout. Does that mean we need to get there as soon as possible? Does that mean we're going to go there next week? No, not at all, right? In fact, we could see bounces beforehand, but what we've seen on the daily chart here for Bitcoin, okay, and this is one of the reasons why I'm even more bearish than usual. We can see on this poll here, I don't know how many people voted, but out of 14 votes, we've got probably 13 people or 12 people being bearish here. So a lot of people agreeing with the bear argument right now. And before I finish what I was saying there, I will say that you'll see on Twitter a lot of people saying, well, everyone's bearish in the market, so that's a reason to be bullish in the market. I would beg to differ. I don't think that's a valid reason. If you think about the 2018 correction, thank you very much there for the super chat. I have no idea how that works, and I've never received a donation before, but I appreciate that, man. That's really great. Thoughts on altcoin season? We'll get there in a second. I'll just finish what I was saying there. So essentially, a lot of people say people being bearish is a reason to be bullish. I would disagree. In 2018, everyone was bearish in the market. We still dropped from 20k to 3k. Obviously, they weren't bearish straight away, but once we got a 50% correction, they were all selling, all panic selling, getting out. Still dropped down. I mean, we're looking at May here. In May, everyone was bearish in the market. We had bullish divergence. We still dropped down for, basically 2.5 more months before we had any sign of life. 2014, the same thing happened. I think it's supporting evidence. It's not actually a reason in itself. And when you start to see people say things like, oh yeah, buy the fear, when people are fearful, be greedy, it's just because they've run out of other actual logical arguments, to kind of they've run out of actual other logical arguments based off technical analysis, and we're relying on kind of these quotes from Warren Buffett in the 1980s, right? It doesn't really make sense. People being bearish isn't necessarily a reason to be bullish. Sometimes there's valid reasons for people to be bearish. Ronco, I'll get to you in a second, man. I'll get to the altcoin season in a second. I'm just going to finish up this Bitcoin analysis, but don't worry, I'll talk about that in the next 10 minutes. So, the target is 30k to 28k there. And what we can see recently is a drop below this major uptrending red line at the bottom. And we've had a drop below that. We've come back up on this green candle, which is the last daily candle close. And we've actually rejected off of that right now. And we're forming a red candle currently. So this is obviously very bearish. And if we can't manage on this daily candle close to jump back up above, and we're looking for a close above 36.4k, jump back above that region, we're going to be heading downwards even further on Bitcoin. And if we look at the volume profile, we can see that there isn't really any clear support block between 40k and 30k. It's just a massive area of historical buying and selling contention. So I can't tell you, where a major point of contention is going to be between 40k and 30k. All I can tell you is the next step for Bitcoin is 30k. But we can see that, I wouldn't be surprised if it takes a while because of the amount of buying and selling contention that's happened in this area historically. We could chop around for a bit. Wouldn't be surprising at all. I also wouldn't be surprised at all if we manage somehow to break back up, retest 40k, and then break to the downside again. In order for me to be bullish on the market, in order for me to be bullish on Bitcoin again, we need to be breaking 48k, okay? What is the reason for that? Well, the reason for that is because the Ichimoku Cloud, the bull market support band, the 50 and 200 day SMAs are all heading towards 48k right now, and by the time we get there, if we get there, they will all be below 48k. And so jumping over 48k will not only flip a major area of support, but it will flip all of our bullish, all of what we need to be bullish dynamic support zones. So we'll get to Ronco right now, and then we'll jump back on to the weekly chart on Bitcoin and then Ethereum. Ronco's saying thoughts on altcoin season. Okay, well, this is a question that I get very, very often. And don't worry, guys, if you're posting questions in the chat right now, I'll take a look at them as soon as I can here. First time streaming, first time trying to manage a full live chat. Again, don't really know what's going on, but we're going to be looking at altcoin season. So first thing you want to do, Ronco, when you're looking at altcoin season, is you want to go over to the Bitcoin dominance chart, and then the next thing you want to do after that is look at Ethereum BTC. Altcoin season is an interesting question I've had over the last few months, and what I kind of previously considered quite a lot. I considered altcoin season down here in September. I also considered altcoin season as we were coming towards this major support block. Let's head over to the weekly chart quickly, so you can see this a bit clearer. Major support block at around 39% to 40%. Now, before I answer anything here, what is Bitcoin dominance? What is the Bitcoin dominance chart? The Bitcoin dominance chart is a chart that measures the percentage of wealth in cryptocurrency that is in Bitcoin in comparison to altcoins. So if you see 41%, which is what it's at right now, that means 41% of the wealth or money in cryptocurrency as a whole is in Bitcoin, and the rest is in anything else, which is altcoins, right? And so typically what you see is when Bitcoin dominance sees a sharp drop downwards, right? It means that people are selling their Bitcoin and buying into altcoins rapidly, which indicates FOMO, which indicates an altcoin season. So what we saw here in March, April, and May is a rapid drop on Bitcoin dominance from 61% all the way down to 40%. And during that period, if you will remember, you can head over to the charts right now. That's when altcoins went absolutely crazy in the market. And that's when Bitcoin actually stagnated and formed a dead cat bounce before dropping down to the May lows of 29k. So that is the Bitcoin dominance chart. And what we've seen here is retests of this major support block that we first formed in 2018. And we've actually seen 1, 2, 3 retests. And we had this downtrending white line that I'll make yellow just so you guys can see it. Hold up one second. I'll make this line yellow. This was the resistance line on Bitcoin dominance. Now, in order to see an altcoin season, we would have needed to drop below this support block, because that would indicate that, hey, money's shifting out of Bitcoin into altcoins, and Ethereum would have performed well against Bitcoin. But unfortunately, well, depending on how you want to look at it, unfortunately, we actually broke to the upside here on Bitcoin dominance, and that means that we're kind of, the scenario in which we see an altcoin season is becoming less and less likely by the day, because when you break a major resistance to the upside, you're obviously going to be expecting a swing to the upside, and that means Bitcoin dominance is going to be increasing, and hence the probability of an altcoin season is going to be decreasing. So to answer your question, Ronco, it's not looking likely. And if we were going to see, and just on a kind of logical level as well, if we were going to see a altcoin season, we would have seen Bitcoin have a substantial dead cat bounce, probably back up here in the mid 40k to 50k regions, because you don't really see altcoin seasons happen. Again, it depends on your definition of an altcoin season, but by altcoin season, I mean a conventional altcoin season in which altcoins go 100x, 10x, everyone makes a bunch of money, right? That it doesn't really need to happen for an altcoin season to happen. An altcoin season can happen and everything goes down still. It just means altcoins are going down less than Bitcoin. But I'm assuming you mean a conventional altcoin season in which you make a bunch of money, right? That typically happens when Bitcoin's near all-time highs but consolidating, like we saw here in May. This is where we saw the altcoin season in May. Bitcoin was near all-time highs but consolidating. We've dropped way below all-time highs here, and so look, I would say it's not a possibility at this point, and you're probably going to have to be waiting for the Bitcoin bottom, and then potentially at that point, altcoins will show some massive strength. But as of right now, I think altcoins are just going to get wrecked for a while. You know, if we see an actual dead cat bounce, there is a possibility they will perform quite well against Bitcoin, but an altcoin season might be a bit of a stretch to kind of imagine there. Let's read some comments here, and then we can jump back into Bitcoin in the weekly. What we're looking at. Some people talking about EOS, Bitcoin Cash. I'll look into EOS in a bit here after I finish Bitcoin and Ethereum. Yeah, I'll check out EOS for you, man. Don't worry. So let's finish off Bitcoin here. I think we've kind of finished off Bitcoin for the most part. We've dropped below that wedge. We've retested this red line for support, and we're probably going to be heading to the downside here. On the daily chart, we've just seen a bearish MACD cross. We're very undervalued on the RSI, which is interesting. We haven't been this undervalued on the RSI since basically May, or before that, probably the COVID correction. So that's interesting. But again, RSI and MACD and all those RSI divergences, Fear Green Index, they're not immediate reasons for a bounce, right? They're just kind of, they're telling you that, hey, a bounce is going to happen, but it's not going to tell you exactly when it's going to happen. That's why I don't rely on them too much. So let's jump into Ethereum. Ethereum on the daily chart here. I've whipped up the wrong one. Let's go to Bitstamp here. I have my Ethereum chart on Bitstamp. And what we consider Ethereum is something very similar. We did an Ethereum video. Well, we've done many of them, but we did an Ethereum video up here around January the 3rd as we had a rejection off of this long-term ascending wedge structure. And I said, hey, the bear market bottom for Ethereum is probably going to be around 1,700, which is this bottom green support box. That's where I think Ethereum is going to bottom. And looking at it now, we can see that Ethereum might even go below that. I mean, assuming Bitcoin has another 30% or 40% to go, 1,700 is a 30% drop away. You know, it could go there, could go even lower, could go down to 1,400, which is the previous bull market top. Who knows, really? But 1,700, I'm going to stick by for now until I'm actually, decisively proven otherwise. I'm going to stick with 1,700 being the bottom for Ethereum, and I still think that even if that's not the bottom, again, just like I said on Chainlink, we're probably going to see a bounce off of that point at some point. And, do I think we're going to drop straight through from 2,400 all the way to 2,000 to 1,700? No, I don't think so. I think there will be some chop here, something like that. You don't typically see massive straight down drops unless you're seeing the end of an altcoin season like we saw here from May to around, from May to May, actually, early May to late May. That was the end of an altcoin season. We saw a 60% drop in just a matter of weeks. This is not the end of an altcoin season. This is a sustained downwards trend in which the stock market's dropping, Bitcoin's dropping, everything's basically dying in the global scheme of things, and particularly in global events. You don't see massive crashes when that happens because it's not a black swan event. It's just a sustained bearishness in which you just go down slowly, have a little bounce around, and you end up at your price target within a matter of months. And so, looking at that ascending channel, that's a pretty clear bearish break. Anyone who says they're bullish on Ethereum right now, you probably shouldn't be believing them too much. There's not much to be bullish on right here. We're looking at the volume profile. We can see the next major area of contention on the volume profile is going to be coming from 1,700 as expected. Below that's 1,200. And so if you're really bearish on Ethereum, you could be expecting 1,200. But I'm talking on a long-term scale here. It doesn't matter what happens in the next 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 2 months. I'm talking long-term, right? 3 months, 4 months, 5 months. Depends how long it takes, how quickly the stock market crashes, which we'll look at in a second as well. But just on a general basis, Ethereum's not looking good. If we bring up all the critical things in the daily chart, which I usually bring up, which is the 50 for 200 and the bull market support band Ikomoku, they're all gone. We can see on the Bollinger Bands, we're critically undervalued right now. We could be seeing another swing upwards, and this is another scenario that I'll bring up here, that we could just swing upwards here, retest this support block here at 2,600, even come up to 3,000 for a rejection and come down again. And you'll notice that when I bring up these analysis for Bitcoin and Ethereum, you might be a bit disappointed, because I always say that, we could do this, we could do that, we could do this. But I want you to just remember, guys, that, it doesn't really matter what happens in the short term here for me. If it was a bull market, if we were in peak bull market right now, I would care about the short term a bit more. I would put in a bit more effort into trying to find out what's going to happen. But right now, I'm very confident the trend is downwards. And so I don't really need to know what's going to happen in the short term. I'm not trading in this, I'm not trading at all in this current market. I've stopped trading ever since that stock market crash. I've stopped trading. It's still crashing at the moment. There's no point, because the external influence on the market right now is massive, to the point where trading is just a death trap, and there's a very low probability that you're going to be successful, and so why would you do it? If we're looking at the weekly chart on Ethereum, and I would just say again, the long-term prediction is very clear. My short-term predictions, it's very debatable. The long-term on Ethereum, the weekly chart, and we'll actually jump over to the Coinbase chart here, because I've got a macro chart for Ethereum. We'll go on the log scale. We had this kind of macro structure in Ethereum, which we formed, and these dates line up perfectly, right? But I'm not going to go into right now. But we had a W formation, kind of, and then a spike upwards for the blow off top. We had the same thing, W formation and a spike upwards, but it wasn't really a blow off top, right? It got cut short. And you can see this bull market was very much cut short. We were expecting something like this. It didn't happen at all. And that is because, guys, there is a massive amount of manipulation in the market now. I don't like to be one of those people that blames everything on manipulation. I'm not doing that. I'm just saying that in 2017 and in 2013, you didn't have the same level of institutional control on cryptocurrency than you do now, okay? And you didn't have the same level of interest in futures and leverage and longing and shorting that you do now. In 2017, it was actually very hard to get your hands on something in which you can reliably long and short on. Same with 2013, okay? You can just spot buy, spot sell. And so now that we have that, now that we have particularly the massive interest in longing and shorting, we have created for ourselves the ability for external kind of parties, like institutions, like manipulators, to flush out all the leverage, flush out of the longs, flush out of a short, trap us here, trap us there. And so to see these massive FOMO-driven rallies like we saw in 2017, 2013, it's not going to happen anymore, because you have manipulation now, and now it's acting more like a forex market or a traditional market, whereas before it was just purely a market controlled by retail, and if the retail were bullish, it was just going to go up. There was no downside, really. I mean, there was, but it was very short. And now if retail's bullish, it's probably going to grind up slowly, but there's going to be lots of 30% corrections along the way as the manipulations in the exchanges try to basically take your money. All right, so it's a very different market now from 2017, 2013. Crypto, in order to simplify it, crypto's gotten a lot harder. It's gotten a lot more difficult because now it's maturing into an actual financial market in which there is the ability for it to be manipulated. And manipulation is a critical part of every financial market. There is not one single market that exists without manipulation. And so complaining about manipulation is not going to get you anywhere, because if you go to the stock market, that's equally as manipulated. And guess what? The stock market is manipulated by the government and the Federal Reserve. This is manipulated by institutions. So who knows? Let's just look at some comments here now that I've gone to Bitcoin and Ethereum. So I'll look into EOS quickly, and I'll look into ADA as well. I'll talk into Theta. Yeah, let's look into that. So we'll start off with EOS, because EOS has been requested by Leonardo for a while here. And look, I haven't looked into EOS for a while as well, but that's interesting, right? So I've got a chart ready to go on EOS. That was a log scale. Let's actually bring it back to the log scale. I like to look at that better. It's much easier to see. So this is the weekly chart, and it kind of fits for me to talk about the weekly chart, because I'm looking at longer term trends now. I'm not really too focused on the short term. I'm looking at longer term trends as we are in a bear market, well and truly. And this is EOS right here on the logarithmic scale. And what we saw is I had these boxes drawn up. This is probably from 3 months ago. I had these boxes drawn up let's go to the linear chart here, of critical resistance, this red box, and critical support, which is an accumulation region on EOS. Now, this was before I predicted a bear market, I'm pretty sure, and so these boxes might be slightly outdated here, but this was the accumulation zone I was looking at for the entire bull market. We can see that we kind of tested this a few times, tested it here, acted as resistance throughout the entire bear market, and then we tested it here for about a month, right? And we dropped down actually from $2.30, $2.35, we came all the way back up to $3.64, and so that accumulation zone did work out. You would have had some short-term profits if you followed that, but ultimately that's gone now. We've dropped below that, and now we're testing major support here around $2.24. And so EOS is yet to close a candle below that, but what I will say is that EOS is in a very critical point right now, a very dangerous point, right? Because we are coming towards all-time lows on EOS. The low on EOS was around, well, I mean, if you're not taking into the foundation of EOS, the low here was at around February 20th, which was the COVID drop, and that was around $1.28. Now, what you will note is that EOS has dropped down so much more than other coins. It peaked out at $15, and it's dropped all the way down here, 85% down already to around $2 here. And if Bitcoin's going to drop another 30 to 40%, EOS could have a real chance here of actually dropping down to the COVID drop lows and retesting that at around, where's that, $1.34. And so that begs the question, and I don't want to be over bearish here, but it begs the question, is EOS dead? It's a very difficult question to answer without actually having an in-depth knowledge on the fundamentals, which I don't have. But looking at the technical analysis, this does not look good. We've already retraced the bear market lows, and that shows a massive, massive, massive lack of buying interest in EOS. People are not interested in this coin anymore. There needs to be something going on. I know that EOS launched the Bullish Exchange, which is an exchange, I think, mainly for institutions, and that's doing pretty well, I think. I'm not 100% sure, but it seems as though there's something going on with EOS fundamentally. I think that, you know, there was some community drama that went on with Jared. I think Jared Tate is the leader of EOS. I can't actually remember, but something went on with Jared, and some kind of internal collapse happened that I remember fundamentally. And this happened months ago, and that's why I'm not kind of grasping what it was. But that is possibly what led to this sell-off, what led to this drop below the ascending triangle formation. EOS does not look good right now, and I don't know if I'd be too confident investing in EOS. If you were going to invest in EOS, you'd probably be looking to get a swing trade off of this support line at $2.24 that we're at right now. There is a potential that will bounce off this support and come back up to, say, $3 before rejecting again. And so there is a swing trade potential here, but again, you'd have to know what the fundamentals are like. That's a 33% swing trade potential. And if you set your stop loss below, say 10% below, you could be in for a pretty bullish swing trade here. But as I've just said, fundamentals are very important on coins that are basically dying out like this. Do you believe that Wanchain might reach all-time highs within the next bull market? Let's look at Wanchain right now. Wanchain, obviously talked about a lot previously. I had very high hopes for Wanchain, but I always said, and if you remember, I always said on Wanchain, each one of my Wanchain videos, I always said, if Wanchain is going to pop off, it's going to do it in an altcoin season. We did not see an altcoin season. And so the kind of guideline that we needed to have in order for my prediction to kind of take place and be true didn't actually happen. And so Wanchain now, since we didn't have that altcoin season, we didn't have the massive amount of buying interest coming into Wanchain because the fundamentals are great. They have a DEX, they have a Zoo, which is a gamified NFT platform, which you can farm, stake, you collect NFTs, sell NFTs. WanSwap, it's a decentralized exchange. You can do the same things, right? Everything you do on a decentralized exchange. And Wanchain itself, cross-chain bridge, first cross-chain bridge from Bitcoin, I don't know. And then we had as well the State Grid Corporation of China partnership, which is, I think, the third or second largest company in the world by annual revenue and employees. And we had all these big things from Wanchain, and then no one cared, and the marketing was abysmal, and they didn't get the word out, and we just dropped massively, and we didn't have an altcoin season, because an altcoin season was going to help this coin, I can tell. They had a partnership with Bitcoin Crypto, and no one likes BitBoy. I don't like BitBoy. I think he's a bit of a clown, to be honest, and that's not to sprout hate. I think he's just kind of selling out to his audience. He shills projects to get rug pulled on a daily basis. But regardless, it's marketing, and we had that partnership with BitBoy Crypto, but we didn't see an altcoin season. We didn't see the word getting out, and we dropped below this long-term ascending wedge. And now Wanchain, again, like EOS, is in a bad territory in which we're kind of just entering the bear market prices again. And time will tell with Wanchain. They persisted through the last bear market. They might persist through the next one. who knows? I'm still very, very bullish on Wanchain fundamentally. In terms of price action, it's undeniable that the TA looks bad here. I don't even need to bring up indicators to understand the TA looks bad. But I'm very disappointed about this coin. This coin definitely had the potential to go 10x or even 100x. What's next? ADA. Then I'll look into Theta, then RLC, and then Litecoin. And then we'll probably look at wrapping it up here because my voice is getting a little bit sore. I do not speak for this long typically. ADA, okay, ADA, and this is another one. And guys, you're going to notice a reoccurring pattern here. I'm basically bearish on everything, right? You're going to notice a recurring pattern. But I have done altcoin videos, and when I do altcoin videos, I do videos on things that have chances of being bullish. ADA was one I did 2 weeks ago, and we did an ADA video literally as we came down and closed on the weekly close here at $1.16. I said, this is a great trading signal. This is a great opportunity. You can go back and watch the video. And I said, ADA is going to go off here, most likely. And I said, set your stop loss like 10% below $1.16. And we're probably going to swing up here. We're probably going to get rejected at around $1.65. And we came up to $1.63 and we copped a nice, 39% trade. So that was excellent to see. And I don't make these videos for no reason. I make these altcoin videos. Even if I say it's going to go up, it's going to go down, I still give you a set in stone trading signal that you can take if you want to. I set up the stop loss. I set up the take profit. I do it all for you, and it's your choice if you take it. I'm not really necessarily about telling you what to do. I'm just giving you the scenario, giving my opinions, and you guys can do whatever you want with it. But that's what I did for 88. It worked out very well. But now, obviously, after that trading signal went down, and after most of you would have took profit if you did do that trade, and I personally took profit, we actually dropped below here and we closed a weekly candle below this entire structure. And now ADA is dropped below this uptrending line, dropped below a lot of things, but it is kind of holding on by a thread, hanging on by a thread to the support block at around 79 cents all the way up to around $1. And that is the last remaining support block on ADA until we see a massive drop down to around 38 cents. So let me explain that again. If we drop below 80 cents on ADA, it will half in valuation to 38 cents, and that is probably a guarantee that I can give you there on ADA. I don't see any support in this region here until 38 cents from 80 cents. And so now, since ADA's dropped below all of these structures and it's below everything in terms of, we can bring up a bunch of stuff here. It's below all of this stuff. We can expect the drop to continue until we reach the support block, and then from that point we can reevaluate. If we manage to hold the support block, we manage to hold 80 cents, we have a chance of maintaining the macro structure on ADA and kind of consistently holding this 80 cent bottom. Okay, I think I said I'll look into Theta, and then I'll answer some more of your questions, then we'll probably just wrap it up. So, Theta. Why is that not coming up? There we go. Theta token. Again, on Theta token, let's just outline where I think we're going to go on a longer term scale. Where we are right now, we're actually on support on Theta, but we've dropped below, and Theta's been very volatile in the last few days. We can hop over the daily chart here on Theta because I think the daily chart is worth looking at. Theta's been very, very, very volatile. I mean, we had a drop below this descending wedge formation. Within basically 24 to 48 hours, we dropped from $3.68 all the way down to $2.38, and so that's a massive drop. But Theta has had a good opportunity here to build support at the $2.75 region to around the $1.50 region, which we built here from January all the way through to February. And we built support there. We had this long-term triangular structure. It was a descending triangle structure. I said we're probably going to break to the downside here on Theta, and we did actually do that. And Theta's broken to the downside strong, and it's gone to the support block as expected here. And now on Theta, we face kind of a scenario in which, we could actually scoop all the way to the bottom of the support block, or we could just bounce here. So let's look into what I think is going to happen for Theta. We are primed for a bullish MACD cross. RSI is in critical level. It hasn't seen a bullish divergence, though, so there's nothing we can really get out of there. If there was a bullish divergence, we could actually see what's going to happen. Theta has seen massive, massive, massive volume on the drop, ascending volume, pretty low volume on the pump up afterwards. So nothing we can really get a grasp off there as well. Bollinger Bands are overvalued. As for undervalued, we see massive support coming from the VVPR coming down at around the $2 region, and so we could actually drop down a little bit more to $2. Ikemoku clouds above us, the 9 EMA is above us as well. So what I would expect for Theta, just looking at all of these things and just looking at them briefly, is actually a swing upwards here on Theta. I think we're going to swing upwards in the short term to the 9 EMA, possibly to around $3.10 before coming down and rejecting all the way back down to that support block we saw on the VVPR, which is actually coming to around $2. $3. So I think we're going to swing up to $3 and then come down to $2. And then from that point, I think we'll see some lengthy consolidation. And depending on the direction of Bitcoin, so we'll see some consolidation after that. Depending on the direction of Bitcoin, if Bitcoin drops down to the 200, we'll drop down below the support block, and we'll probably actually end up on Theta down at 60 cents. And those will be the bear market low prices for Theta. That's my prediction for Theta. And if in the alternate scenario, if Bitcoin kind of has a slower, more gradual bottom and altcoins do a bit better, we'll probably bottom out at the support block here, $1.50, and then swing back up and retest the top of this triangle here. We can draw that in at around $3.73. So it really does depend on the harshness of the Bitcoin drop. If Bitcoin just crashes down like it's been doing in recent days, you can see Theta dropping massively here. Theta's going to end up, like I've just said, at 75 to 60 cents. If Bitcoin has a very gradual drop and it's very slow and altcoins do not too badly, we're looking at $1.50 on Theta. Ultimately, the direction is downwards. I think we'll see a short bounce before we see that, though, up to $3, as I just said. Now, what else are we looking at here? We'll look at RLC and then Litecoin, and then we'll probably look at wrapping it up here. And don't worry, guys, I'll probably do these streams probably once a week. And so if you have any other altcoin recommendations or suggestions, I should say, I don't know why I'm saying recommendations, let me know in the next stream. And I think that the reason why I'm doing these streams is kind of as a bit of a replacement for too many altcoin videos, because I do love doing Bitcoin analysis and Ethereum analysis, because at the end of the day, you know, when you're analyzing Bitcoin or Ethereum, you're analyzing the entire market. Bitcoin controls the market, Ethereum controls altcoins. And so looking at too many altcoins is not really going to get you anywhere on a longer term scale. You might get some swing trades, and that's why I do the videos. But unless it's a bull market, you know, altcoin videos don't sound like a great idea very regularly. I mean, I'll do them a couple of times a week when I see a swing trade, obviously. But RLC is kind of like a coin that I've always thought of. I didn't even talk about the Theta fundamentals. Theta is very it's future proof, right? Theta kind of, and before I get into RLC, Theta and RLC kind of work together, actually, let's be real. They're kind of both playing into Theta's looking at gaming and streaming and what I'm doing right now, right? And you can essentially lend your bandwidth, I'm pretty sure, or rent out your bandwidth to streamers so they can have better streaming quality and get rewarded in Theta tokens. So it's kind of a streaming platform. But that's decentralized as well, obviously, and that's kind of playing into the metaverse and stuff like that when people are going to start live streaming things. And you know, that's great. That's all good. But looking at RLC, it kind of does a little similar thing. RLC is decentralized cloud computing. And so this is another thing that's kind of future-proof in a way. And that's, you know, we're looking at kind of RLC selling the shovels to the gold rush of the metaverse. That's how I've always thought of it. And I think I'll just leave it at that. Selling the shovels to the gold rush of the metaverse. You can go into my RLC videos. I explain the fundamentals a little bit more. But looking at RLC, I was so bullish on RLC as well. And we caught some good RLC trades, guys. We caught some excellent RLC trades. If you guys were in the Wolfpack in around May, which is when it just started, actually, you know, we caught RLC down here in this retest of the support line at $1.78. We came all the way up to $17 at 10x within like literally a month, or not even that, 2 weeks. That was crazy, and ever since that point, I've continued to cover it, and that was probably one of the biggest gainers of the bull market for us, including Solana and Luna. But we came all the way down to the support line again. I kept releasing trading signals on the support line. We'll make it red so you guys can see. We'll make it yellow, actually, so you guys can see it a bit clearer. I kept releasing trading signals every support line. We saw so many good trading signals, so many good bounces. And on this trading signal here, we dropped below it. And we kind of expected that a little bit. Bitcoin was going very badly at that point. We dropped below that. That was bearish. And I said, we're going to come down a little bit. We're going to retest the top, and then we're going to drop down further. We did just that, and we've dropped down even further. And now RLC, again, is entering this kind of terrible bear market territory that we've just talked about with EOS and Link. But, you know, I'm not too worried about it with RLC. You know, I think RLC is going to have a bright future. Again, I'm not a fundamental analyst. I'm just some dude, but I do a lot of technical analysis. Fundamentals look great on RLC. Technical analysis doesn't look too great. But we're coming down on this support block right now. And that support block is sitting at around $1.60 all the way up to around $2.25 on RLC. And so, you know, we could see one more bounce here on RLC. I think there is a very strong potential for a bounce on RLC. Looking at where the 50 SMA and 200-day SMA are. 50 SMA, for those of you who want a quick little TA lesson, if you're looking at dead cat bounces, the 50 SMA is typically a very good target for it if you've just seen a sharp downwards trend. And so coming onto the support here at around $1.50, I would expect on RLC a swing back upwards here probably within the next week as we come down to this support, a swing back upwards to the 50, which will probably be at around, let's see, probably $2.50, $2.40, maybe even down at $2.27, depending on how long it takes. A swing back up there before another retest of this support block. And from that point, look, assuming Bitcoin's going to go into a full-blown bear market where it just goes down to 25K, we're probably going to drop below that and lose that structure. And from that point, the next support will be coming from around 60 cents. And that will probably be the RLC bear market bottom, similar to that of Theta at around 60 cents to 75 cents. So, one more chance here for a bounce on RLC. And if Bitcoin miraculously recovers and, it could do that, come back up to 48K, RLC has a very good chance of just coming back up and swinging back over this line and just continuing the trend. And this could be labeled as one big fake out. Obviously, I want that to happen. I don't think it's going to happen. I really would love for Bitcoin to recover because I'll make more money. I'll make more followers as well. And you guys will make a crap ton more money as well. So, although I'm bearish in the market, I would love for it to be bullish. I'd love for it to swing to the upside. I just don't see that as the logical kind of scenario here. There is a probability, but everything's probabilities in the market. We have to look at what's more likely. So, Justin, thanks, mate. Just want to say thank you for the consistent knowledge and content you give us during these times. Truly an unbiased and underrated channel. I appreciate that, Justin. Thanks for donation there, mate. Thanks for the continued support. As for Litecoin, and this was the last coin we're going to be looking at today, and then if you guys have any questions, I'll probably just quickly scroll through the chat and just answer some questions I can look at quickly. But as of Litecoin, there we go. Litecoin is interesting. I might actually make a quick video about Litecoin after this, to be honest. We'll see. I might just upload this segment of the video. I can act like I'm doing the video. No, I won't do that. But what we can see on Litecoin is this previously drawn out support block. We've come all the way down and we've retested it now, $97, and we've actually bounced off of that. And I would be expecting, just based off the fact it's a macro structure, if we bring up some support bands here, let's see what's going on quickly. Just 1 second. Okay. That's triple bottom on the RSI, and we're primed for a bullish MACD cross. Yeah, Litecoin looks very good right now for a quick kind of scalp trade, in my opinion. I think we'll swing back upwards, and we'll probably retest the 50 just like RLC, and that's going to be a swing back up to $1.29, $129. Again, in saying all this stuff, guys, I keep saying these coins look good for swing trades. I'm personally not swing trading anything. I've already told you why. The stock market's opening tomorrow. The stock market is in a bad place, right? All of this could be ruined very easily from the stock market. Russia and Ukraine, there's some tension there. Fed's going to rise interest rates. Everything in global events is telling me not to trade right now. I'm looking at the technical analysis itself, right? If you think those global events aren't a big deal, that's what you need to decide with. These trades would play out if they aren't a big deal. If they turn out to happen, they are a big deal. They're not going to play out. But looking at the technical analysis alone, it looks pretty good for a quite quick little swing trade back up to the top of the support box, rejecting off the 50, just like I've said before, and that is a prime kind of indicator. And then below that, we're looking at probably support around 85 USD, down to around 64 USD, and that's probably going to be close to the bear market bottom, around 64 in my opinion, on Litecoin. I don't think Litecoin's going anywhere. Litecoin is, well, it has the name at least of being the silver to Bitcoin's digital gold. I think Litecoin's a great project. I think, there's nothing really that Litecoin does that no other project does, but it's just got that marketing. It's just got, as I said, the silver to Bitcoin's gold. People love that stuff and people eat it up. And when a bull market happens, Litecoin did very well, right? Did pretty well. It came up from 40 to 10x in the bull market. That's pretty good. It went past the all-time high just barely, and then it was cut off short. There is the potential for Litecoin to kind of slowly die out, slowly lose momentum, but I don't see any evidence of that right now, and so we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But I think Litecoin's got a bright future ahead, at least for the next cycle, right? I don't think coins like this, especially Nano, Digibyte, Litecoin, they'll always exist, but I don't think they'll always thrive. I think they'll always have a core little community, especially Digibyte and Nano, right? Those are coins that directly rival Bitcoin, with, I think, Digibyte copying the tokenomics to a certain extent as well, just to try and get that extra marketing boost. But they'll always exist, but they won't always thrive, in my opinion, as I've just said. So yeah, that's basically it, guys. Let's look at some comments here. If you have any more quick questions you want to ask me, go ahead. I'll just scroll through from the top here because there's not too many comments. And I appreciate your guys' support. I can see lots of people giving support here, and that's great. Do you think Bitcoin will crash due to high leverage ratio or go up if the S&P pumps tomorrow? Yeah, if the S&P pumps, Bitcoin will definitely have a relief rally. And we could be looking at, let's bring up the Bitcoin chart. We could be looking at another swing back up to the upside. Oh, wait, that's the wrong chart. We could be looking at another swing back up into this descending wedge and another retest of 40K if the S&P pumps. And the S&P, again, let's look at that. Sorry, 1 second. the S&P SPX is coming up on major support here, especially on the weekly chart. And so there is the potential that the S&P could actually come to the upside. You know, the support's sitting at around 4,350. So we could have one more day of red and then a little bit of a pump. But again, you know, it's hard to predict things like this because the S&P is so manipulated that technical analysis barely works on it. And when you're taking into account that in order to analyze the S&P, you basically need to analyze the globe and every single event that's happening in the world. Very difficult to analyze, especially if you're not a fundamental analyst. And I'm not a fundamental analyst, so I can't tell you exactly what's going to happen. But we are coming up on support. And if we do bounce in the S&P, Bitcoin will definitely have some relief. I still think the trend will be downwards, but I still think we'll have some relief. Look, again, if Bitcoin miraculously recovers, it breaks 48K, let's buy back in, right? 48K is so good. If we break 48K, let's buy back in. I'm happy about that. You know, I wouldn't consider myself to be a failure at that point because I still predicted from 66K, I've been telling people to sell. If we buy back at 48K, we've still avoided people at 22K drop. And so I'm happy with that. You know, I'd love for Bitcoin to pump, but I just, you know, again, I'm not seeing anything right now that would show me that's going to happen. SHIB, yeah, I'm not going to look at SHIB, no offense. I don't like meme coins. I think there is a time and a place, obviously, to invest in everything. Everything in the market has a potential place in which you can trade it, especially Dogecoin and SHIB. You know, if you want to trade that, go ahead. I know my friend Mega Whale, he trades those things all the time because they're such good, you know, for swing trading and scalp trading. But if you're planning on holding SHIB or holding Dogecoin, I don't know, man. That doesn't seem very smart to me, but that's up to you. Do you believe in dead cat bounce is in the near future? For sure, there's going to be plenty of dead cat bounces. Can you please talk about Theta? I already did. This crash has been much more aggressive than May 2021. Probably would touch 25K. Yeah, I completely agree with you, man. We have to remember though, in May we actually dropped from 60K to 29. From 60K to 30K in 10 days. And so that was a pretty aggressive drop. I think that was slightly more aggressive. This one has been more painful though because it's been a slow, drawn out downwards trend. Lots of people are getting burnt from this one. Crash flowing into channel. All right, guys, I think that's about it. Unless we have some new questions. Matic, yeah, sorry, Matt. I'll get to that in the next live stream. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed the first live stream. Let me know if you have any recommendations about live streams in the future. I think we had probably 30 viewers at one point there, which I'm happy with. That's great. I wanted to wait a little bit longer, get a little bit more followers here, so I didn't just stream to like 5 people. But it's great to have some of you guys out here showing support and getting some altcoins that you wanted analyzed, because this is the time and a place to do it. If you hit me up on Twitter and Telegram, I might not get back to you. I get pretty much 50 messages a day. It's kind of hard to get back to all of them, but on a live stream, it's kind of like I have a duty to reply. And so, if you want to get your altcoins analyzed, this is the place to do it. I hope you enjoyed, guys. This will be the replacement for the Bitcoin update today. And I'll catch you in the next one. So, yeah, thanks, Gab. See you later, guys.